Good morning, thanks for your purchase of the Breville Barista Touch. This is it, the BES880 in black stainless steel. Looks great as you can see and as you saw in the photos. So to prevent your machine from being dirty and wet during transport, I've tried to minimize the parts that I'll be using. So I'm actually using my own drip tray, my own handle, my own bean hopper, my own water tank, and also my own tamper. I actually use the exact same machine every day, so these parts are readily available. Yeah, so I'll make my morning latte on this machine, show you how it's used from start to finish, and a bit about how to clean it at the end. It's very easy to use. Now, being the first time this machine is being used, we will have to set it up. And it's mainly setting up the grind size. So every machine will come with slightly different grind size settings. What I mean by that is that we'll have to make a coffee and adjust the grind size accordingly, because we can't tell if, say, the middle setting is good enough or not, because of differences in manufacturer tolerances, etc. So we will start at the grind size. I usually tell people to start at grind size 10. In this case, I'll be starting at grind size 5 and make a coffee there. And if the coffee is too quick or too slow, I'll adjust it accordingly. Make sure you use fresh beans, as good beans as you can. If you use cheaper or stale beans, you may struggle with getting a good coffee. For example, you may get a really fast shot, very little crema, sour tasting coffee, etc. These are some of the things that you would experience if you don't have good beans. In my case, I've got a bag of this Pablo and Rusty. It's one of the brands that Breville recommends. It's actually a fresh bean. It's pretty good. It was roasted over a month ago, but it's been sealed ever since, so hopefully we can get a decent coffee out of it. I was overseas when this was sent to me. So I'm opening the bag for the first time. Whatever bag you use, make sure you close it after you're done, otherwise the beans will oxidize and age very quickly. And like I said, we don't want that. Add a little bit of beans, just a handful, not too much. I think we'll be doing one or maybe two shots until we get this right. No promises though. I will cut the video if it becomes too long, so it'll make you watch unnecessary parts. So I'm just going to quickly test the grind size by having a look. So it's at 5 at the moment. Looks okay actually. We might proceed with this grind size. You probably can't see on the camera, but I'll bring it close if you could. That's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it looks all right. I've got a scale here. I want to measure the inputs and outputs. Not super important to get a scale, but I think it's one of the first things I would get if I could. You can still make a coffee without the scale, just by practicing or by eyeing it. But I think the key for consistency and good coffee is scale. So actually, yeah, it is quite important, at least in the beginning, as you train to use the machine and set it up for the settings. Right, so start the scale and then make sure your scale measures to decimal place, to 1 decimal place. So 5.5, 10.1, etc. Actually, before grinding, I like to do a warming cycle or like a blank shot So I would press the double button, put my portafilter in, and put my cup underneath. This way I warm up all of these components, warm up the machine, and say if you forgot to clean the machine last night, this will also clean some of the coffee that's in there. Let it go for the full duration. You can stop it at 20 seconds, it's up to you. You stop it at 20 seconds. I believe the double will go for 30 seconds as per the factory settings, which this is set to, and the single will go for maybe 20 or 25. Obviously you can change those if you wanted to. You can also change things like the grind size, obviously from here. At the moment it's at number 5. You can change the grind amount or the duration of the grinding from the screen as well. That's 18 seconds at the moment. You can also get, I'll show you in a second. You can also get some hot water right from the boiler, from this hot water spout. You press that and it gives you water straight to the cup. And you can also change the milk settings if you use the automatic settings. You can change the temperature, the froth level. Being a latte, it's at 5 at the moment, so I'll keep it there. This is the stock settings for a latte, 5 and 65 degrees Celsius. You can go, I think, all the way up to 9, or, oops, you can go all the way to, I think 8 or 9. Yeah, 8, froth level 8 is the maximum. So I'll keep it on the stock factory setting of 5, and we will make a coffee there. Before pouring your espresso, if you're a person that likes to add sweetener, syrups, sugar, this is the step to do it. Some people discourage it, but it's personal preference. I like to add a tiny bit of sugar, just 1 spoon, 1 teaspoon. So I add a bit of hot water to my cup to help that sugar dissolve, just a little bit. You don't want to dilute your coffee. Great. I'll put my cup on the side. I'll grab my portafilter. Now I'm using the double basket, the one that comes in the handle with your machine, the stock one. There's 3 others. There's a single, which looks similar to this, but it's just smaller. It's a single. There's 2 others that are called dual wall baskets. Actually, let me do something. I've got transparent cups here. I should be using them for the video. Yeah, that would be a good idea. So I've got the dual wall baskets, which are made with 2 layers, and they will be easier to use if you have beginner as a user, if you have older or cheaper coffee, or if you have pre-ground coffee that you received as a gift or you bought from the shops by accident. You can use the dual wall baskets for those. If you have good skills in tamping and grinding, etc., and you have good beans, using the grinder to grind fresh coffee, I would use the single wall, which is what is in the handle. The manual should elaborate on this, and also on the packet there's a bit of text that tells you the baskets on the left are for fresh coffee, the baskets on the right side are for pre-ground coffee. Okay. As I transfer the sugar from my cup to the other, it's taking me a while, so I apologize, but that's okay. We can lose some without any issues. Right, so here's my cup, sugar ready. Ideally I would warm up this cup, but we don't want to make this video too long, so that's okay. Grinding. So start with a dry portafilter and dry basket. You don't want it to be wet when you grind, otherwise your beans will touch some of that water, and then it'll mess up the flow of the coffee into the spouts. I'll be using 18 seconds, and then I'll see how it goes. Grind size 5. Let's go. I'll be quickly stopping halfway to check. Okay, we might need to grind a bit more. Okay, yep, looks like 18 seconds won't be enough, so we'll increase that a little bit. This is 12 grams, so not ideal. We'll go to I think that's 25 seconds in total. I'll adjust it to 25 for you, and it's about 17 grams. I'll add a little bit more. Yep, I'm happy with that. Don't want to force too much coffee. So the recommended dose for this double basket is 17 to 18 grams. Some people push it to 19 grams, but I wouldn't. It's better to be slightly under than slightly over, I think. Make sure you tamp nice and firm. Make sure the silver part on the tamper disappears. This is your clue that you have the right amount of coffee. So if you tamp and this part sinks in, then that's good. If it sinks too deep, then that's too little coffee. If you can't push it, then that's too much coffee. You can't push it any deeper than this. And yeah, make sure that you have a nice polished surface. And then make sure the edges are clean of any coffee. And then lock it in. Just do the middle position for now. Make sure it's tight. In the future, in the coming years, you might have to push it a bit more to the right, all the way to the locked position. But at the moment, I think in the center should be tight enough. You don't want to put too much pressure on your machine. Now, we measured the input, which is about 17.5. We also want to measure the output. So this machine will dose for 30 seconds. The time is constant. What's not constant, what's variable is the grind size. So we change the grind size to change the flow speed, and that will change the volume. So say we ground too fine, our coffee particles are too small and they are packed too tightly into the portafilter. We won't get much coffee out of the handle, and so in 30 seconds we may get nothing at all, or we may get maybe 10 or 15 grams of coffee. That's very fine, so we need to increase the grind size in that case. On the other hand, let's say we ground way too coarse and our coffee particles are too large, the water flow is too quick through the coffee. So what would happen in that case is, in the 30 seconds that we brew for, we will get a lot of coffee, so much more than, say, 40 or 50 grams, 40, 50 plus. Oh, let's say over 40. But if we get everything right, if we did the grind size correct, if the beans are fresh, if the tamping and distribution of the coffee in the handle are correct, we will get about 35 to 40 grams. 35 to 40 grams in that 30-second shot. So hopefully that's what we can get now, or at least in the next shot. Some people spend hours doing this. Hopefully in this video we can do it in 1 or 2 shots. I think we are close, but there's only one way to find out. So I'll press double. There we can see the timer starting on the screen. Okay, we may have to grind a bit coarser. I will stop it. I will stop it there. So it's coming way too slow. The first drop started at, what, 12, 15 seconds, and it's still very, very slow in terms of the flow. That tells me that we ground way too fine, and that's okay. The line between fine and coarse is not very clear to a lot of people, and it's very, very subjective and close, even when you look at it. And also, the fresher the bean, this is a rule that I found, the fresher the bean, the slower the flow. So if you have the same grind size and you use fresh beans and you use old beans, the fresh beans will flow slower, which is good. It means that the beans have all these oils and gases and freshness in them. So we need to grind a little bit coarser. So we're at, I said grind size 5. We will jump to grind size 10. I recommend people only change it by a few numbers at a time, but to save us some time, we will jump all the way to grind size 10. Hoping that should be good enough. I think it will be close, and it will be quicker when we brew. What I'm doing now is cleaning the portafilter. And the group head in one step. So I like to do that to clean rather than taking this to the sink. Then grab your tissue again. You want it to be dry again. One thing about grind size adjustment is that it's recommended to only change the grind size as you grind, and to also let the grinder run for another 5 seconds to get rid of the old grind size. So there's a bit of the old grind size stored in there, and we changed it to the larger grind size just before. So we'll grind it for about 5 seconds to get rid of the old grind size. Great. Okay, we'll do the same with the scale, but hopefully with less commentary because we've already gone through this. Turn the scale to 0. We will reduce the time to 22 seconds because increasing the grind size, meaning that the burrs are further apart, the grind size is larger. The grinder will grind easier because it's grinding bigger particles, if that makes sense. It's not jamming the beans closely together like before, just by a little bit. So that also means that if you want to change the grind size to a larger number, you can change the grinder adjustment when the machine is not grinding. Whereas if you want to go down, looks like we are running out of beans, so I will quickly didn't want the grinder to time out there. Okay, oh, looks like a good amount of coffee. What I didn't do this time is I didn't stop it halfway to tamp and measure, but that's okay. You don't have to. This is 16.5, just a little bit more. Yep, 18 grams, perfect. I'll keep it there. Hopefully we won't have to do this again, but if we do, it'll be nice and quick. Just like before, make sure the tamper disappears, which is what's happening now. Make sure it's level. Make sure you apply firm and even pressure all around. Great. Lock it in. Yeah, so continuing from there, we have 18 grams in the handle. I'm going to be using the same cup. Actually, let's reuse, and let's use a different. Oh, let's just wash the cup, I guess. It has gotten cold, so I'll be using our handy hot water tap to warm it up. Just like before. If you like adding sugar or sweetener, add it at this stage. Just 1 spoon, and that's it. Right, so our scale is ready, our coffee is ready, and our cup is pretty much ready as well. So we'll do the same, double, and see how we go. Yeah, this time it's flowing at the 8-second mark. It's coming out at a consistent pace, definitely quicker than before. And I think we got it right this time. I will let it go for the full 30-second duration. I may stop it at 25, 26, 27. I'll stop it there. It would have gone for 30 seconds, but I think it's good enough here. This is 36 grams. Perfect. Let me show you. This looks like close in person. This is exactly double. Sorry about the scale being dirty. This is my work scale. I use it for these videos. 36 grams, and this is what it looks like. Good crema. Beautiful shot. I think this is very good. We could have let it go for 30 seconds. That would have meant we would have gotten more coffee than we needed. So what this tells me is that with these beans, these specific beans at this age and day and age, these beans will probably be better at grind size 9, not 10, which is a little bit different. So grind size 9 will be a little bit slower. So instead of giving us 36 grams in 27 seconds, it would be 30 seconds. But that's a very, very small difference. I wouldn't worry about it too much. You could have let it go for the full 30 seconds, and you would have gotten maybe 40 grams, which is okay. This is much better than before. I won't do another shot. It would be a waste of time because your beans will be different to my beans. Whatever beans you get, if the brand is different, you will get different results. If the age of the bean is different, so say your beans are only 2 weeks old, not 4 weeks old, you won't get the same result. So I will let you continue this process at home. But hopefully what I've taught you in this video is that if you grind too fine, you'll get too little coffee. If you grind too coarse, you'll get too much coffee. And if you grind just right, in about 25 to 30 seconds, you will be getting about 35 to 40 grams. I can repeat that and say, in about 30 seconds, you'll get about 40 grams. Plus or minus a little bit is fine. This is what we got here. That's the espresso part of this drink. This is a latte, so we need to add milk now. It is a small cup. This is the dual cup from Breville. Called the Latte Duo, so it's fairly small. I'm not sure why. I usually add a bit more than I usually drink coffee that fits in more than this, or aka I use bigger cups, but just because this cup is transparent, I like to use it for these videos. I will be adding less quantity of milk than I usually do. I usually tell people if they have bigger cups and drinking a standard drink of latte is to add milk to just below this spout on your jug. Obviously your machine will come with this jug, but your one won't have the sticker, the temperature sticker. That's just because my machine, my other machine didn't have the thermometer, but your machine does. Obviously the thermometer is right here. So when you're using the automatic mode, your machine will tell you the temperature. Not the point here. The point here is I'll be adding milk about here, maybe a third of the way, so we don't overflow our cup when we do pour the latte the milk for the latte. So hopefully we can make this nice and quick for the video not to be too long. Yeah, should be okay. So what I like to do at the beginning, I like to purge. So I will warm up the boiler and then clean any milk that's in there if you haven't cleaned it. But then I'll do the automatic setting. Make sure you put the jug on the thermometer. In the meantime, you could have done the cleaning, or at least just clean the puck and then wait for the machine to finish. Once it's done, super easy to clean. This has an insulated wand, so that means you don't have to get a wet towel to clean it. You just get a normal tissue, and it will be good enough a lot of the time. So this doesn't get super hot. We got a nice foam on our milk, and also, as you saw, once you wipe and push down the wand, it will clean itself, so it will pulse about 3 times. Sometimes it will spray a little bit of milk around, and that's normal. I've seen that happen in every machine, pretty much. Yeah, just make sure it's super clean, and then once you finish with the milk, go back to the coffee and press the brew. This will give you the water again into the group head, so this time you can use it to clean the group head and the portafilter. Just a few seconds and we're good. And then to be extra clean, I would recommend getting the brush that's included in the box or the tissue and wipe the group head. And that's about it. Yeah, this is how you can make a coffee and then do the cleaning on your Breville Barista Touch. All that's left is pouring the milk. So when you finish with the milk, sometimes you have big bubbles. You want to break those by knocking the jug on the counter and then swirling the jug around to mix it up. Yeah, I think my milk is a bit too old, but should be okay. Sorry about the noise. You will be doing that if you get bubbles. yeah, not my best work. But yeah, here is the final result. Hopefully you can see it better up close. No fancy design here, but yeah, this is the latte. This is the amount of foam that I got, and I actually haven't even finished the jug. I have a bit more milk in the jug, so if you had a big cup, you'll probably get more foam. Yeah, if you're skilled enough, you can actually use this machine on the manual mode. So it's asking me to fill some water, but yeah, you can actually use manual mode. So to use manual mode, you'll have to have the wand propped up like this, and then press manual on the screen. Whereas if you want to do automatic, you put the milk jug with the milk, obviously, you push it down, and you press auto. It will go to the automatic setting. But yeah, this is the coffee. Hope you can make better coffees than me. Hope you enjoy the machine. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Thanks for watching.